Okay. When I was involved in maybe about 12 different incidences, roughly 12. And not all of them were crashes of a full craft. But also they'd have mechanical problems. So sometimes they would set down in an effort to repair the mechanical problems. And when they would do that, normally they would go ahead and take off before we'd get there. A good example, in 1963 at Edwards Air Force Base, there was a UFO that landed on the lake bed there. The military immediately alerted and sent 2 SAT teams, and SAT stands for Sabotage Alert Team, to go out there and check out the object that landed on the dry lake bed. While they were going out there, both teams could see the object up in front of them. Then another object came down floating like a leaf above the object that was on the ground. Slowly, the object on the ground started to lift up underneath the one that was above it, and it kept going back and forth like a leaf. And slowly, both of them lifted up. So by the time the SAT teams got there, there was nothing. The only person I ever heard talk about that particular case was Dr. J. Allen Hynek himself. The only one. Our social paradigms are such that we are conditioned to believe it utterly impossible for us to be visited. We all can accept other life out there, and we are conditioned to accept that now. It would be foolish to say it's impossible. No, they can't get here. The distance is too great. But at the same time we say, well, we can't get there. They already have the technology to traverse space-time. And as we become more engrossed and more knowledgeable of quantum physics, we've discovered that there are actually portals between the sun and the earth. They know how to keep those portholes open as they travel through them, where they collapse behind them but open in front. But they can go ahead and navigate these wormholes. And I use wormholes because I don't have a better term. It best explains what I'm trying to say, if you understand traversable wormholes. So the whole situation is, we might be able to go into one, but navigating is entirely different.
And why they visit us? For which reason? For what reason they visit us?
Well, for the same reason that we want to go out. And that reason is universal. Exploration. We want to have a greater understanding, a greater knowledge base of our universe, our world around us. And they, just like us, they want a broader understanding and knowledge base.
So we're not supposed to worry for them?
No, they have their rogue elements. And when I say our rogue elements, I mean no one in a thinking society would have gone out and shot 20 innocent.
Do you think if American government or another governments from the world, they have some contacts with, official contacts with the UFO, but keep it in secret from the public?
Every developed nation on the face of the earth has had contact, and to lesser degrees, working knowledge that our visitors are here.
Do you think it will be possible someday to have this global contact between the human beings and the visitors?
At some point in our history, we're going to have open contact. And like 2016, I believe we're going to be looking at a space object that's up there right now, 1991 VG. I think we're going to find out that wasn't put up there by us, and that it isn't a highly unusual asteroid, that it really is some type of craft that was put up there by somebody other than some nation on the face of this planet. But at the same time, I truly believe if you go to a UFO convention, everybody there says, we can accept the truth, we're ready for it. We, as a world, have no clue how the world is going to react when it is eventually brought out by not one nation, but a group of nations, because all the nations on the face of the globe are going to have to be involved. And we say we have contact with another civilization that did not originate on the face of this planet. These other civilizations that we are having contact with exceed us technologically by thousands, millions, even billions of years ahead of us. We have nothing to fear from them. They have no threat. They are of no threat to us. Their purpose here is pure curiosity, as much as we have curiosity of what lives in the ocean, what lives here on our own planet that we're discovering new life forms all the time, and what lies out there in space.
What we should do to be prepared for this contact?
Well, the best way I can put it is that don't limit the immanency of God. The same God that created us created them. We're probably going to be shocked to find out that that which we call God, they believe in too. Religion define our paradigms of religious thought. When I make reference to God, I'm Catholic, and that suits me, and I try to live my faith. And I try to live my faith as a Catholic. I will not force feed any other person my religion, because they have to decide that within themselves. But with that being said, I think that we're going to find out that our visitors truly believe that the universe didn't just happen. There's a divine blueprint. We have to search within our hearts and minds. We have to start looking for the similarities in all of us, and start to understand that the differences in us isn't that big of a deal. It's been where we've looked at the differences in us that's brought about the problems we've had in the world. You had racial inequality because people would look down on a person of a different color of skin. You had ethnicity inequality because this person came from another country, people that come from Mexico. No. Look at the culture. There's some beautiful cultures that every person that comes here to America brings with them. And like, my wife, she's Vietnamese. And my kids, my wife, they still hold true to some of those cultures. I have many friends that are Hispanic. They hold true to those cultures. I have some friends that are German. I have some friends right here that are from a different country. They hold true to those cultures, and many of those cultures are beautiful. So when you start looking for the similarities among us, then you realize we are one people that populate this, the third rock from the sun we call the Earth. And we are the human race of planet Earth. With that being said, we're going to come into contact with other species that maybe from outward appearance might horrify us. But if we start looking at our inner selves, then we realize we're nothing more than one part of an intergalactic neighborhood. And we're all interrelated. And then we start looking for the similarities, not just among us here on Earth, but the similarities of those that are out there, and even the interdimensional individuals that are visiting us.
Okay, that video will be basically for Bulgarian public.
I would tell them that UFOs are universal. There isn't one country on the face of this globe that hasn't been visited by our visitors. There are people, like I've had contact with them in Bulgaria. There are people there who have contact with them. And a lot of times this takes place as a little child. So before you go ahead and say your child's hallucinating, you might want to listen very carefully to what your child is saying, because it may not be an hallucination at all. But if anything at all, the fact that we have visitors coming here, and they're coming not just from different countries on one other planet out there, but they are coming from many other planets, and they have learned to live in harmony. We need to go ahead and understand that we here on the planet Earth need to live in harmony. I mean, I envision someday where we act as a united people on planet Earth. We put aside all of our global differences, and we work for the greater, better benefit of humanity. And there won't be no need for war. We need to get to the point where we care what happens to the guy across the street and what happens to the guy on the other side of the ocean. So what I'm saying is, essentially, the world needs to come together. We need to put our differences aside, those things that separate us, and start thinking of us being the member of one race, the human race, regardless of your ethnicity, the color of your skin, or your nationality.
This is very good end, and thank you very much for your time and sharing these stories with us.
It's my pleasure, my friend.